RV owners are honest, unless we're full-time, which I haven't been for years, our camper vans spend more time not being used than being used. Now, I do also use my van as a car, so technically I do drive her every single day. But how often do I travel in her? How often do I sleep in her? And this has basically been my regret since returning to the US from Mexico in 2023. Yeah, we're about to hit the 3-year mark, and I've done precious little van life, or any traveling really, in the last 3 years of so-called part-time van life. Since returning, I've had other priorities, important and real priorities, override my travel focus, which is absolutely fine. I've always prioritized my son's education, and we just got to a point where he needed less travel, especially as he finishes high school in preparation for college. But the result for me, just on a personal level, aside from extreme pride in my son's accomplishments, because they have been many, is a fairly unhealthy lifestyle. I've definitely been one of those people that didn't particularly worry about my diet and exercise. However, my travel lifestyle, especially as I spent 20 years in the Navy, has kind of taken care of a little bit of that for me. So of course, through the Navy, we get a certain amount of exercise, but also through travel, I'm constantly going to new places, seeking new things, often on foot. Especially in Mexico, I walked every single day, even if I wasn't doing anything special per se, just going shopping, exploring new places. Like, I was constantly walking and on the move, and this is incredibly healthy. And with all that movement during the day, I was also sleeping really well during the night. In the US, much more car-centric world, when somebody says they're walking in the US, it probably means they're exercising. Whereas walking in Mexico, Europe, and other places, it's transportation. It's how you run your daily errands. So yeah, for the past 3 years, I've honestly done as much sitting as the van has. And there's really nothing for it, right? My son takes classes in this particular city or region, so it's not like I really have the time or location freedom to travel. And my son is still a sophomore, so we've got more than 2 years of this lifestyle to continue. And I do want to note that Alex has completely flourished these last 3 years, so I don't regret moving back to the US because of all the opportunities and lifestyle changes he's made, as well as I do love reconnecting with my family, especially my dad and my brother. It's just that while my son has been truly thriving, I have gained a ton of weight. Like, this is what I looked like 3 years ago when I first moved back to Georgia. The proof is in the face. As well as, and I think a lot of it is to do with a more sedentary lifestyle and the weight gain, but I have been facing what feels like a ridiculous amount of health concerns. Like, I have not been okay. Also, I think it's part of the sedentary lifestyle, but especially when I don't have classes going on, I end up staying awake till 2, 3 in the morning, just scrolling on YouTube, wasting away really precious sleeping time, which is the time that our bodies heal. Like, if there's anything wrong with us, sleep will cure a lot of it, but I have been staying up just not sleeping because I don't really feel tired because I haven't done anything all day but sit. And so even though I wake up early in the morning to make sure Alex is ready for school, to make sure I'm ready for college when classes are in session, take care of the dog, etc., etc. Like, I am doing the things, but the things don't really require that much, I guess, physical exertion from me. So then I don't sleep at night as I should. I don't know if that fully makes sense. My point is, I have a very unhealthy lifestyle when I'm living in the US and not traveling. It's no bueno. Now, to be fair, going to college has helped with that. I take in-person classes, so I'm physically getting up, going to the campus, walking from classroom to classroom, doing the thing. So it's improved my life to go to college, absolutely. As well as I love school environments in general. I love learning, but it hasn't ultimately really helped my health all that much. It's helped my mind gain some clarity, which is nice, but still not sleeping at night, still not really exercising, although it's a little bit better than it was when I first got here. So what do? My ideal lifestyle conflicts with my son's ideal lifestyle, at least in this phase of his life. What would you recommend? How would you fix this? Let's talk about what travel I have been doing, at least recently. So of course, because of my son's school schedule as well as mine, we've only been traveling when we're not in school. So this last Thanksgiving 2025, was the first time we've traveled during the holiday season, during the winter holiday season. This Thanksgiving, my son visited his dad in Illinois, which means while my son was visiting his dad and doing all the Thanksgiving traditions that side of his family does, I got to do solo van life with my dog. Not only was it the first time for me to do van life in the cold, it even snowed in Illinois, but I got to experience doing van life while finishing my finals. See, I was still in college. Of course, we got the week off, but I had all of these final projects due essentially the Monday after Thanksgiving for all my classes. So I was able to travel different parts of Southern Illinois, a little bit of Arkansas and Tennessee in the cold, which if you know me, I don't care what season it is, I'm sleeveless because I'm kind of always hot. Much rather be in the cold than the heat. Traveling to places I've never been in Illinois in the van, which not only because I'm out and about doing things all day long, but just because of the sunlight or the lack thereof, I sleep really, really well when I'm traveling in the van. So even though I was still spending a decent amount of time, quite frankly, at Starbucks to make sure I was finishing up all my projects for class, I got to do kind of the best of both worlds. I had the location freedom to not have to go to class every day. So I just had to do like online stuff, which just as an FYI, in terms of college classes, I would absolutely rather do an in-person college class than remote. However, I definitely enjoyed not having to go to class so I could travel and live in the van in the cold. And it was awesome. But all good things come to an end. Before I knew it, Thanksgiving was over and we were back in Georgia getting ready for another traditional US holiday. And I made the decision that after the holidays were over, so January 2nd, I was going to do van life by myself in Georgia until classes started. But of course, and I hate to be like negative Nancy all the time, but because of the busy schedule we normally have, I scheduled so many appointments in January. Dental appointments, braces appointments, and several medical appointments to go to for myself. What do you do when you've just got so much going on? Like, how do you van life in this? And obviously, once life starts, once school is back in session, then we really can't do van life. So since January, we'll say the 4th, I've had appointments almost every single day of the week. So how can I fix this? How can I van life? It's honestly impossible. Or is it? So I finally put my foot down. Last week, I decided to live in the van. I've been sleeping at Cracker Barrels and I've been going to my appointments, which were kind of spread out, if you will, through the metro Atlanta area, which is where I live, going to new areas to walk the dog, who also has been having a pretty sedentary life and definitely needs more and longer walks. I've been studying and doing research, because there's always studying and research, at libraries, specifically avoiding cafes, which is where I actually would prefer to do a lot of my research and studying, because I absolutely need to take control of my diet, and Starbucks is not the place to do it. So anyway, going to the library and also going home every day, which is kind of weird. But going home every day, making sure Alex eats his dinner, making sure Alex finishes his homework and various assignments that he has to do over the holidays. We've still been practicing our Japanese. We read Frankenstein together, so now he's writing his literature essay on it, and I take my showers at my house. And when I'm not sleeping at a Cracker Barrel or some location further away, I've been sleeping in the van in my driveway. I know. It's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely crazy. I do get it. However, doing my nighttime routine in the van, physically in the van, it just keeps me on track. I don't know how else to explain it, but when you're in the van and the world is dark around you, you tend to want to go to sleep faster. And in the morning, when the world starts lightening up, you tend to want to wake up more. If nothing else, my sleep schedule has absolutely improved just from this week, honestly, from the first night of sleeping in the van. While going to bed early, of course, in a house, would probably have the literal same effect. The truth is, when I'm in the house and my head is thinking of too many things, I just do the things in my head. I'm Googling, I'm researching, or sometimes I'm mindlessly scrolling YouTube, but I don't feel tired. I don't feel like I need to sleep. So I just don't. When I'm in the van, it looks like nighttime. It feels like nighttime. I want to go to sleep. I'm not, even if something pops in my head that would normally trigger me to get up and research it or write it down or something, when I'm in the van, there's this strange camping vibe, if you will, of I can do that tomorrow. There's this distinction between time when it's appropriate to do work and time when it's appropriate to sleep. And so I kind of just, any of those thoughts that come in my mind, I kind of just brush aside and ignore and sleep. And I have been feeling infinitely better just by doing this truly part-time van life. Part-time not as in a week here and a week there, but part-time as in I spend a decent amount of my day in the house working with my son or going to appointments. My dog literally right now, by the way, he's getting groomed. I could have chosen to go home, relax while he's being groomed, and then come pick him up. But I have this van and I have all these videos that I absolutely need to start recording that I keep pushing off. I keep pushing it off till the next day and then it never happens. So what a perfect opportunity while I'm waiting for my dog to get groomed to record this video. I am at home and I can go ahead and get work done. It's hard to fully explain. I've always told people, whether you're doing van life or traveling, to Mexico or wherever, travel is rehab, like drug rehab, where you physically go to a rehab facility and you enter a different world. In rehab, everyone's priority is essentially to get healthy. All the triggers that would normally tempt you to, drink alcohol or whatever addiction you're trying to quit, those triggers are gone because you're physically in this rehab facility. And travel is very similar in that way. You're not around the things that would cause you to do some of your bad habits. And so you can get to, I usually say your true self, but also your best self happens in travel. It's why I have a hard time imagining a life for myself where I'm not traveling, because I want that. And just like rehab, when you go home, right, that's the scariest part. That's the trickiest part. How do you go home and not go back into your old habits? And I'll be honest, it's hard. It's always been hard for me. Anytime I've come home, while I was in the military, when I would come home for whatever reason, it was always very hard not to react to situations like I always did. We wear these hats, these titles, these characters that we carry around with us. And when you go back home, it's hard to get rid of that. That's been my last 3 years. I've been living, and very specifically, I've been living with my dad. I moved in with my dad. And so I'm living in, I wouldn't call it my childhood home, but the last home I lived in with my family. And a lot of those negative habits have come back. So it is a new year. Over Thanksgiving, I had this aha moment that actually I think it is possible to literally live in the van while still taking care of my son in a more traditional home environment, while going to school, while, I teach geometry now and all the things, like while maintaining my responsibilities. I think it is possible for me to live in the van, especially while it's cool. Once it gets hot, I don't know that I'll be sleeping in the van, although as I embrace sleeping literally in the driveway, I could absolutely plug into shore power at home and turn that lovely AC on. But either way, at least for now, while the temperatures are cool, I'm going to be doing a new kind of part-time van life where I sleep in the van, because I really if I can fix my sleep, I just feel like the sky's the limit in terms of my health. But at a minimum, where I'm sleeping in the van, and I'm hopeful, especially during the weekend or times where I don't feel like I have to sleep in the driveway. Again, just being in the van, living in the van will encourage me to go to new places, to new parks, to walk, etc., and to explore. Georgia is a big state, and not just Georgia, but the Atlanta area, the metro Atlanta area. This is a big region. There's a lot to do here that I haven't done, I haven't been doing, because I live in a house, because it's so convenient to just stay home and do all the things there. That is the plan. For sure, this last week has been amazing. Not doing anything spectacular, but just sleeping in the van, walking my dog in new places. So we'll see. School starts on Monday. Let's see how long this lasts. In fact, feel free to put it in the comments. How long do you think I will last going to college, taking my son to school, homeschooling my son, teaching geometry, taking care of the dog, doing all the things? How long will I last sleeping in the van every day? As a side note, if you've been following my channel, you know that when I lived in Merida, Mexico, I slept in a hammock for over 1.5 years. And sleeping in the hammock I think really helped my lifestyle in Mexico. I don't know. Sleep is so vital that if you can't sleep, I guess, in a normal, traditional environment, figuring out alternative ways, so mandatory. So yeah, in the comments, let me know how long you think I will last doing this new style of part-time van life, specifically sleeping in the van every night. And if you happen to be a part-time van lifer like myself, is this something that you would ever try yourself? Very curious to know. I'm really looking forward to the conveniences of house living combined with the healthy aspects of van life. Thank you.